All right, good morning. How do you do? I miss you, okay? All right. Okay, we are going to begin with what we did last week. Remember, we spoke of verbs after we did our 2-letter words. And the verbs we spoke of were all action-oriented verbs. We gave a lot of examples. We were all excited giving examples. I remember every one of you gave examples. I remember especially with Prof. Prof gave an example like talk. Good. So we spoke of action-oriented verbs. Verbs that when they are mentioned, an action comes to mind. I mentioned eat, walk, sleep, dance, jump, everything we said, all of you were correct the last time. But today our discussion is going to be a little different from what we did last week. Good. We are going to talk about the same verbs, but these verbs that we're going to speak of today do not depict an action. If you mention them, action does not come to mind, but they are called verbs. Okay. It's a little confusing, but I would explain for you to understand. Good. These verbs do not show action at all, unlike the first one we spoke of. The first one we spoke of, all of them showed actions. But these verbs we are going to speak about today, they do not show action, but they are classified as what? Verbs. First of all, if we take a sentence like Kofi is sleeping. Kofi is sleeping. There is a verb in a structure, in a sentence, but this verb do not show action in a sentence. I know there is another verb in a structure, sleeping. Sleeping clearly shows an action, but there is another verb in this structure that helps sleeping. Okay, and this verb is what? Is. Good. This is a verb that do not show action, but comes in a structure. A typical example I want to give today is, he is a boy. He is a boy. He is a boy. There is no sentence that can be formed without a verb. Okay? I gave the first structure that Kofi is sleeping. Sleeping is a verb. And there is in this structure that depicts an action, but does not clearly show an action in the structure. So we'll go to this structure. He is a boy. The verb in this structure is. Okay? It is because it is an auxiliary verb. It is helping verb. In structures, helping verbs comes to replace main verb in sentences. The main verbs are those verbs that shows action, like jump, eat, go, move, fight, carry, and all of that. These are verbs that show action. But these other verbs do not show action. They only help the main verb or the action verb in the structure. Good. So our discussion today will be on the verb to be. The verb to be. The verb to be. The verb to be. So these are the verbs we are going to discuss. The verb to be. And the verb to be is a verb that does not show action. Okay? The verb tells what someone or something is like. Is that understood? It only tells what somebody or something is like. Good. So if I say he is a boy, the is telling what he is. He's a boy but not a girl. Is that understood? Good. So there are types of this verb to be. There are only 3 types of them. And they are is, and are. Is, and are. They only tell what something is like, but they do not show action. Okay, so we are going to take examples for the 3 types I just mentioned. Is, and are. So the first example I will give is Kofi is a boy. So is telling what Kofi is. Okay? Kofi is a boy, but not a girl. That is the first example. The second example is I am a teacher. So is telling what I am. Is that understood? Good. And the third one I want to speak of is the verb are. So we are students. Good. So these are the three verbs that tells what something is like, but they do not depict action like the verbs we discussed earlier. Is that understood? So these are types of verbs, but they do not tell of an action. They only tell how something is like. Is that understood? So the example I just gave on the board, Kofi is a boy. Is telling what Kofi is, okay? So I am a teacher. We are students. Is that understood? So these are other types of verbs that do not tell what an action, but they tell what something is or are. Is that understood? Simple. So there are only three. So the verbs we learn today is the verb to be. And the verb to be has three types. The three types are is, and are. They tell what something is like, and they perform the function of a verb in a sentence. Clap for me. Alright, so that is that for today. We are going to take the words of the day. We have 5 words for today. 5 words. After I'll give you the word, tell mommy or daddy to look for the meaning of the words for you and use them in sentences. Is that understood? Tell mommy or daddy to look for the words for you and the meaning of the words for you and use them in sentences. So, word of the day 1. First word of the day. The first word of the day 1 is die. D-Y-E. Die. D-Y-E. Die. That is word number 1. Word number 2. Word number 2. Word number 2 is germ. G-E-M. Germ. Word number 2 is germ. G-E-M. Germ. Good. Word number 3. Word number 3 is hawk. H-A-W-K. Hawk. Word number 3 is H-A-W-K. Hawk. Word number 4 is very simple. Word number 4 is poo. P-O-O. P-O-O is poo. Word number 4. Most often we tell our teachers we are going to wee-wee or to poo-poo. Wee-wee and poo-poo are not words. Tell the teacher I'm going to poo or I'm going to what? Pee. So poo is word number 4. I know by now you know the meaning of poo from what I just said. Good. Clap for yourselves. Word number 5 is W-I-T-T-Y. W-I-T-T-Y. It is pronounced witty. W-I-T-T-Y is called witty. So these are the words for today. We learned today of the verb to be. And we said the verb to be is different from an action-based or action-oriented word, which when mentioned, an action comes to mind. But the verb to be, when mentioned, no action comes to mind. They only tell what something is like. And we said there are 3 types. There are is, and I. Good day. Bye-bye.